Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in my little converted garage. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and this is the show where we talk about the things that we love. Movies and movie news, TV and streaming and all that good stuff. Joining me in the good stuff celebration is, of course, coming to us from the Robservatory, writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine going into this 250th birthday weekend.
Yes, that's right. It's the 250. And also joining us from the Lair is Jonathan Voico. Jonathan, how you doing?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Good Stuff Show. All right.
The Good Stuff Show. And of course, most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show a part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to be talking about a bunch of predetermined topics that we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you're watching the show live with us, and you do have to be watching live in order to do this, you can fire in a thought, topic, question, observation that you'd like me to address, and we'll get around to those in the second half of the show, provided I find your topic or question appropriate to be addressed on the show. All right, guys. With all that down and out of the way, let's get things rolling here, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. You know, I unapologetically love the first Moana movie. Absolutely adore it. So I was quite excited when Moana 2 came out, but I'm not going to lie, I was not thrilled with Moana 2. As a matter of fact, I only went to see it once. And when I love a movie, I'll go back to see it multiple times. But I mean, it was okay. It was good. It was all right. I was mildly entertained by it, but it was just an okay movie that fell far below the standards of the first film, at least to me. Fell way below the standards of the first film. So I just went, all right, I guess I'll just look forward to the live action Moana coming and see what they're able to do with that. Well, while promoting the new live action Moana that's coming out here shortly, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Maui himself, was doing an interview to promote it. And during that interview, he dropped the news, and this coming to us from MovieWeb, saying Dwayne Johnson finally confirmed sequel to one of his biggest franchises. By the way, the headline, Dwayne Johnson finally confirms sequel to one of his biggest franchises. One of the reasons I don't use MovieWeb as a resource anymore is because of idiotic titling like that, like where they're just trying to trick people and like, just say Dwayne Johnson confirms Moana 3. I hate these nonsense, idiot little titling. Dwayne Johnson confirms sequel to one of his biggest franchises. Oh, I guess I better click on it to find out one of his. Anyway, but they were one of the first sites that had the news up, so we're going to use them for now. But that's one of the reasons why I hardly ever, and none of you should ever go to MovieWeb. Just my opinion. None of you should ever go to MovieWeb, but we'll use them for our purposes right now.
Wow. You took a risk on clicking that, though, John. That could have been Red Notice.
It could have been. I did a specific search for Moana 3 news, and it was the first one that came up, so I was like, okay, we'll use that. So basically, yeah, he confirmed that they are indeed doing the sequel, and that they are bringing back Jared Bush and Dana Miller, who wrote the screenplay for the second one, that they are currently writing the screenplay for the third one, which I'm not thrilled with because, like I said, I did not love Moana 2. But I'm not completely turned off of because I didn't mind it. Like I didn't mind Moana 2. It was okay. It was all right. Maybe they can do better the next time around. But guys, whether the second one was better than the first or way worse than the first or just okay, Moana 2 made over $1 billion. Moana 2 made over $1 billion.
Yeah, almost 500 million more than the first.
That's
like 450 mil.
Significantly more than the first one. Obviously, because of the first one is why it made that much, but still. So there's no doubt or question in my mind about, well, why do you make another one? Well, because the last one made $1 billion. That's why. Yeah. I am a little bit nervous about it. Rob, from a studio point of view, I get it. I can't argue the wisdom in producing a third one when the second one, which wasn't even all that great, made over $1 billion. So I get it. I just really hope it's better than the second one. It doesn't have to be as good as the first one, just at least be better than the second one. Anyway, Rob, you heard this news. Are you surprised they're doing a third one? Is it a good idea to do a third one? And do you have any interest in it yourself?
Well, we covered on this channel that Moana was the biggest streaming film on Disney Plus by like a wide margin.
Not just on Disney Plus, like of
Yeah,
all streaming movies for like 4 or 5 years in a row.
So this is a bulletproof franchise, and as we all know, let's milk that one to death. I mean, so I think from a business perspective, you asked from the studio's perspective, it's a no-brainer. I mean, this is a really rich, very robust, very profitable franchise. And if they can keep the quality level up, to a reasonable, if it's an 85 or above in terms of quality,
well, that'd be great.
It would be great, and I think they probably look at the numbers, and they know that Moana 2 probably wasn't as strong as Moana 1, but as long as they come up with something that I think is worthy of the franchise, I don't see why you wouldn't make it. I mean, it ain't show friends, it's show business, as Bob Sugar said in Jerry Maguire. So I think that if I was running Disney, I wouldn't think twice. I'd sign off, yes, sir. As long as, again, with the caveat, always the caveat, if it's good. If they mess it up, if they half-ass it, well, then why do it at all? But I think they should.
The one thing that I'm going to be very interested in seeing is, because correct me if I'm wrong in the live, I might be wrong about this. So if I am, correct me in the live chat. Lin-Manuel Miranda didn't write all the original songs in the second one. And to this day, I cannot even, in the smallest degree, hum. I can't even hum for you 3 bars of any of the songs in Moana 2. That was one of the big areas of step down from 1, in which I can probably sing word for word about 4 of the songs. And so I am going to be very interested to sit back and kind of wait and find out and see, do they get Lin-Manuel Miranda to come back and write if they do, I'm going to be interestedly revitalized in my interest. If not, I'll still be a little bit cautious in my enthusiasm for it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Rock has now confirmed that they are indeed doing Moana 3. Good idea? Bad idea? Would you greenlight it? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? I don't think if you filled a room with 1,000 movie fans and you said the phrase, Tom Hanks is one of our most precious treasures who must be protected at all costs, I don't think you'd hear a lot of debate in the room. There might be some, but I don't think you'd see a pretty big schism. Tom Hanks is one of the most valuable, precious treasures that we have in the world, and he must be protected at all costs. And when we think of Tom Hanks, we think of a lot of different things, but one of the things that will definitely come up is one line. One line. There's no crying in baseball. And so that was why, with great interest, I saw this headline in Deadline saying that Tom Hanks is coming back to the baseball genre, if you will, in a very different kind of movie called The Comebacker, set to come out next summer. So a year from now, it's going to be set to come out. And this thing sounds really interesting to me. This is what they wrote over at Deadline. Sony has dated the Tom Hanks movie baseball movie, The Comebacker, for July 30th, 2027. The movie, as Deadline first told you, reteams the 2-time Oscar winner with filmmaker Marielle Heller, who directed the actor in Mr. Rogers' movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which was awesome, by the way. Hanks received an Oscar nomination in the supporting actor category for his turn as Rogers in the 2019 film. Based on a short story by Dave Eggers that was turned into a script by Heller, the film is a love letter to baseball and offers a plum part to an up-and-coming leading man. Hanks plays the pitching coach of a major league pitcher whose life is upended when he is hit in the head by a line drive on the mound. The devastating comebacker changes his life in all kinds of ways. All right. I am a big sports guy, but I must confess I've never been that into baseball. I will follow it come, playoff time. I love the drama of the playoffs. Obviously, when the Toronto Blue Jays win the World Series, or now my quote unquote hometown LA Dodgers are doing well. But I confess I'm not the world's biggest baseball fan. But I think amongst the bravest people in professional sports are pitchers. Because guys, whenever I watch baseball, every time a pitch is thrown, all I can think is, oh my God, this guy's going to get cracked. Not the batter, the pitcher. And some of the most horrific, gasp-inducing things I've seen in sports is indeed when a pitcher gets hit by a ball that's traveling at 5,000 miles per hour, heading back at them. And of course, most scary if they get hit in the head. So the idea first, and we all love good comeback stories. I know we're all thinking about the Chris Pratt blooper thing from Parks and Rec right now, but we all love a good comeback story. That is the greatest video on YouTube, by the way. We all love a good comeback story. It's Tom Hanks. It's Tom Hanks returning to baseball, and it's addressing something that I have as nightmare fuel whenever I do watch baseball. I just worry about these guys so much. And the idea of a movie like this sounds really special to me. So I'm already marking this one down on my calendar. Rob, you read the synopsis of this. What do you think about the sounds of the comebacker?
Well, it's kind of got an irresistible hook to it. John, sports movies are one of my favorite. I mean, I like watching sports, but I don't follow sports religiously. But one of the subgenres of movies that I love are sports movies. I'll watch any movie about sports, whether it's Moneyball, The Natural.
Oh, Moneyball's so good.
I'll watch anything to do with. I just love because like cop thrillers or lawyer films, sports movies have a natural conflict built into them. There's either a scrappy team trying to win, there's a player on the outs, there's an up and coming player, there's a player trying to change. Whatever there is, there's some mythic quality to a great sports movie. And this sounds right up my alley. I mean, it's like catnip. And like you just pointed out, I can't imagine. I mean, there's a little bit of horror in it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine getting hit in the head with a line drive?
I mean, I've seen it. It's not
I know. I played, dude, I used to play. I was in the farm leagues, when I was in junior high, and I pitched. And I struck a kid out, and he grabbed the baseball, walked up to me on the mound, and threw it at me as hard as he could, and it hit me in the head. Wow. So, and I couldn't pitch.
I have apologized for that over and over again. You got to let it go.
It's true. But you know what? Once that happens, you're scared. You get scared, and that resonates with me. I can't wait to see this movie. I didn't even know it existed.
You're our resident baseball fanatic. What do you think about the sounds of the comebacker?
I think it's awesome. It kind of reminds me a little bit of The Natural, how he goes away for different reasons. I mean, he gets shot in The Natural and whatever, but it's a double meaning here, because it's not only is that what it's called when a baseball gets hit back at the pitcher, but this is also going to be, I'm assuming, is his comeback to overcoming like this, probably physical issues, mental issues, and probably getting back on the mound. Even if he doesn't, I mean, the trauma, that's the head trauma that comes from, I mean, I think in the story, it's like 106 miles per hour when it hits him, and it's a hard ball hitting him in the head. It sounds incredible. I mean, I've seen these moments for real. I've seen it miraculously when they catch the ball too, but anything like this, dude, like Bull Durham, For Love of the Game.
Bull Durham.
I know people don't necessarily qualify Field of Dreams as a baseball movie, quote unquote, but whatever, I'll throw it in there. And Moneyball, like I'm already in for this. I'm already in.
I think my favorite sports movie overall, I'm tempted to say Best of the Best, but I guess everybody knows I love that movie. I think my favorite sports movie overall might actually be Mystery Alaska with Russell Crowe.
It's great.
I love that movie. I love that movie so much.
And it's Canada adjacent.
It is Canada adjacent. Yes, it's close to Canada. All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about the sounds of the comebacker? Tom Hanks returning to the baseball genre. I think this movie sounds amazing. I can't wait to watch this thing. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, it's crazy to think about it, but as of yesterday, we are now at the halfway point of 2026. I feel like the year just started, and yet here we are now at the halfway point of 2026. And I had a bunch of our viewers write in and say, hey, give us your rundown of the best films of the year so far. So I thought that would be a good idea. We were going to do it yesterday, guys, but another thing came in and we just got too full to do it. So I thought we would touch on it right now. And I'm going to say this. I don't think it's been a particularly strong first half of the year. There have been a few very strong movies, but, you know, there wasn't as much. Like, I didn't have a hard time putting the list together. You know what I mean? I think the second half of 2026 is going to be much more interesting, which we will talk about in a few minutes. We'll talk about the second half of 2026 in a bit here. So I am now... it is my privilege and honor now to present to you what I find to be the best 5 movies of 2026 so far. And here they are. Now, first of all, one I want to mention that I'm not going to put on the list because I got to see it, but it's not out yet, so it doesn't really count. But so I'm going to give a little asterisk here to Forgotten Island. You guys know I talked about this movie the other day. I think it's the best animated film of the year. And I say this as somebody who loved Toy Story. I can't wait for it to come out and for you guys to see it, but I'm not going to put it on the list right now because technically it doesn't count. All right. So I'm going to start my number 5. My number 5, and this may surprise you, but I think I like this movie more than most people did. Send Help. The Sam Raimi film, with good Canadian girl, Rachel McAdams in there. I could not believe, guys, how entertained I was. It was a great mix of horrific stuff, hilarious stuff, office level cringy stuff. And I thought the performances were great. I thought it was an incredibly satisfying ending. I just loved it. To me, it was just a big ball of entertainment. So I had a really good time watching Send Help. So I put it in at my number 5 spot. In my number 4 spot, I just mentioned the movie Toy Story 5. Somehow, some way, they keep finding a way to make Toy Story irreplaceable and to make Toy Story meaningful. And to make Toy Story make you laugh and make you think. And like a lot of the audience that I saw Toy Story 5 with, make you cry. It was just a wonderful entry, truly a worthy, I don't think it's the best of the Toy Story movies, but truly a worthy entry into the Toy Story franchise. So for me, at number 4, I've got Toy Story 5. In my number 3 spot, I just finally watched it. Obsession. Listen, when you've got a really talented storyteller, you don't need to have much other than a couple of actors and a room and a camera to tell a story that just rivets you the whole way through. Now, I don't think it's a perfect film. I have some issues with the ending. I have a couple little nitpicks here and there. But what this guy was able to do with what I think is one of the best screenplays of the year so far, a masterful touch already with how to use the camera to tell the story, a couple of magnificent performances. I ended up really loving this film. So Obsession for me comes in my number 3 spot. Now we get on to my number 2. And some of you already guys know what my top 2 is going to be, but The Sheep Detectives. I had absolutely no interest in this movie. None. I remember they showed us a preview for it last year at CinemaCon, like not this April, but like last year. They showed us a preview for it at CinemaCon. I'm like, why is Hugh Jackman in this? And then they even showed us stuff for it this year. And they came out this year and said, guys, this is our favorite movie that we've made. And this is, and I'm like, it looks innocent enough. And I'm sure it's going to be cute.
Like, fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be cute. I'm sure. Yeah, but come on. And I only went to go see it because Anne really wanted to see it. And within 5 minutes, I fell in love with it.
Yep.
And it is just truly one of the most special films of the year. And I still to this day cannot believe how good this movie is. I really can't. So I am shocked. January John right now is shocked to tell you that Sheep Detectives is my number 2 favorite film of the year so far. And to nobody's surprise, Project Hail Mary to me is still the class of 2026. I was enamored with it when I saw the first previews. Rob talked me into getting the audiobook, fell in love with the story even more, went to watch the movie. It is by far my wife's favorite. My wife has played it like 10 times already since it's like, we went to go see it in theaters about 5 times and is, then bought it immediately and watched it like 10 more times since we got it. Just the performances, how they made this little freaking rock puppet one of the best characters of the year, is still a mystery to me. So that's it for me, guys. My top 5 of the first half of 2026, which I still think was a little slim pickings. Again, I don't think it was a particularly super strong first half of the year, but we did get some treasures out of it, like Send Help at number 5, Toy Story 5 in the number 4 spot, Obsession in number 3, The Sheep Detectives in the 2nd spot, and for me, the best film of the year so far is still Project Hail Mary. So, Rob, that is my list of the top 5 of the year so far. What say thee? What are your top 5 so far?
I have a tie at number 5. Number 5 is The Christophers, which is Steven Soderbergh's new movie, and an Israeli film called Yes, that is a scathing political satire that just destroys modern Israel in the wake of October 7th. And then The Christophers stars Ian McKellen in a defining role, and it's all about art. And it has an two incredible performances in it that are just riveting. I had no real interest. I went to it because it's Soderbergh, and I was absolutely delighted. At number 4, 28 years later, The Bone Temple, or as I like to call it, the most metal movie ever made. I
thought it was a big improvement over the last one.
Yeah, I wasn't so keen on the first one. I enjoyed it, but you need that movie for the setup. But The Bone Temple, I mean, everything I wanted out of, it's the Return of the King of 28 Days Later, the 28th series. I just couldn't believe it. And Ralph Fiennes, man, again, I would give he's not going to win an Oscar for this, but he should. And I absolutely loved it. I just love this movie. Can't get enough. Nia DaCosta, she came back roaring after a Hedda and after the Marvels and delivered something that was truly memorable. Number 3 for me is Project Hail Mary, a movie, John, you know how much I was looking forward to this. I have to say, I hoped it would reach the heights of The Martian for me, especially the extended version of The Martian. Didn't quite get there. It didn't provide as much emotional wallop as I wanted, but still tremendous. I loved it. In the number 2 position, The Death of Robin Hood. I was blown away by The Death of Robin Hood.
We never really talked about that, so I didn't know.
I slipped in to see it. It didn't hit home for me, so I wouldn't have guessed that it kind of checked the boxes for you. What worked for you in that?
It was the whole mood. You know what? One of my favorite bands growing up was a 4AD band. It's called Dead Can Dance, and it's the band that Lisa Gerrard, who did the Gladiator soundtrack with Hans Zimmer. She sings on it. It was her band, a lot of medieval instruments. I love that band. Watching The Death of Robin Hood, I felt like I was listening to a Dead Can Dance album. And Hugh Jackman's performance, the cinematography, it was from the director of Pig. I was just totally entranced by this movie. I mean, it took me to a different place, and I was riveted. Look, it's obviously not for everybody, and it doesn't provide the entertainment thrills of Toy Story or something like that. You really have to pay attention. But Hugh Jackman, a career best performance, absolutely incredible, and the camera close on his face and just the countryside and everything about it. And Jodie Comer, oh my God, she was so good in the movie.
She always is.
Oh yeah, and at my number one position, again, if you told me, John, in 2025, dude, your two favorite movies halfway through 2026 are going to star Hugh Jackman. The Sheep Detectives is my number one with the bullet, because I'm a big fan of what I would like to call whimsy, but it's really hard to give me the whimsy that I love. The Star Wars of whimsy for me is Amelie. That's Amelie is one of my favorite films of all time, but that is a very hard balance. But when I saw The Sheep Detectives, it is a film that is whimsical, but it works as a movie. And I could not believe how emotional it was all the way to the final frame of the movie. And it was a film that I was completely enchanted by, not expecting. I mean, we had seen at 2 CinemaCons. We had seen stuff about this movie. I'm like,
Yeah.
What is this movie? What is it? And going in there and seeing that film and the way it was done, and it was directed by an animator, a guy who co-directed, I want to say, the Minions movies for Illumination. And I think only somebody with the soul of an animator could have directed Sheep Detectives.
And who wrote it?
Oh, it was written by Craig Mazin.
Yeah.
Based on a novel, and that script was laying around for like a decade. Mm-hmm. And I thought the direction of it, the performances, everything, the visual effects, it was perfection. And I wasn't prepared. And I know it's kind of a list of it's an eclectic list, but all of these movies, the movie Yes was just a complete knockout, and what a savage satire. And on the other side, The Christophers was such a sublime film. It's basically 2 people in a room talking, and it is amazing. And the acting, Ian McKellen is incredible, and both of them are incredible.
Jonathan, you got a favorite 1 or 2 films of the year so far this year?
Yeah, Project Hail Mary ranks really. I didn't think to rank, but Project Hail Mary ranks really high. And I would also like to add to the list, one that stood out for me was Baz Luhrmann's Epic, the Elvis Presley live in concert documentary.
I never did watch it
because it was a quasi documentary. It was also the way he interwove it was just really good, and it stood out to me so far in the past 6 months.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What are your 5 favorite films of the first half of 2026? Again, I thought it was a little bit slim, the first half. I am looking to the second half a lot differently, but what were your 5 favorites? Give us your list by jumping down into the comment section below and leaving your list there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. We now move from the first half of 2026, being now sitting here in the middle of the year, to the second half of 2026. And where I kind of felt that the first half of 2026 may have been a little bit slim, oh my God, is the second half ever packed.
Oh my God.
It is so packed that I have to cheat a little bit, and I've got to give no less than 4. I could have given, listen, I originally had a list of 9 honorable mentions. All right. So I had to trim it down. I trimmed it down to at least 4. I trimmed it down to 4 honorable mentions before we get to my top 10.
Just do a top 20.
Yeah, I should have done a top 20 or top 30. So here are my 4 honorable mentions. Like, I'm really looking forward to these. Or 3 honorable mentions, I should say. I've got Verity which even though I have fallen completely out of love with Dakota Johnson as an actress, I am now of the belief she's just actually not that good. But I can't help it. The trailers for Verity and the presentation they showed us for it at CinemaCon, I'm salivating to see it. Anne Hathaway looks insanely good in it. Dakota Johnson looks really good in it. This looks like it could be a really fun movie. And they gave out, I don't know if you remember this, Rob, but they gave out the novel at CinemaCon. After the presentation at CinemaCon, they gave out the novel to everybody as they walked out. Anne took it, read it. She loved it. And Cody Miller's wife, she loved it too. So because of that, I've got Verity on my honorable mentions. And listen, I never would have thought I would have put The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping on this list. But I can't help it. The trailer was awesome. It just looks really good. It doesn't matter that I'm not the world's biggest Hunger Games fan, but that trailer looked great. And so because of that, I actually find myself really excited to go seeing it now. And then also, and this is all because of the CinemaCon presentation, Evil Dead Burn. I thought it looked awesome. I thought it looked so good. So I'm pretty stoked to go see Evil Dead Burn. Looks great to me. So those are my honorable mentions. All right. Now let's get into the main event here. Let's get into the top 10. My top 10 most anticipated films coming out in the rest of 2026 in its second half. And I'm going to start with one I bet you don't see coming. It's the new Olivia Wilde directed film, The Invite. Guys, some of you may not even heard of this movie yet. It's actually already out in limited release. It goes wide release in about 10 days. It comes out in theaters in wide release. It's directed by Olivia Wilde, and it stars Olivia Wilde, Seth Rogen, Penelope Cruz, and Edward Norton. And the basic premise, it's kind of a swinger comedy. The basic premise is Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen are a married couple who, I guess their marriage has kind of grown stale. They invite their neighbors from upstairs, Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton, down for a dinner. And it turns out they're swingers, and it just becomes this awkward. And guys, the reviews, it's one of the best reviewed movies of the year. The last I checked, it's sitting on a 95% critic rating and a 95% audience rating. And sometimes guys on Rotten Tomatoes, it'll be like, okay, it'll have an 80, but as you go through the reviews, they're all like, oh yeah, this movie's pretty good. They're all positive reviews, but none of them love it. When you read the reviews for The Invite, it's like 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 3 out of 4. Like, people love it. And I have been waiting for Olivia Wilde to give us her next directorial, because her first directorial movie, Booksmart, was awesome. Her second directorial effort, Don't Worry, Darling, I could have done without it, to be honest with you. So I've been really looking forward to seeing her getting back into it. This movie looks hilarious, and I can't wait to watch it. And so that at number 10 is The Invite. At number 9, Clayface. And it's all about the trailer. All about the trailer. I mean, yes, it's DC, so I'm interested, but then that trailer looks so different. I think it's so far out in left field from what I think everybody is expecting and looking for in a DC film. I can't wait to watch this. It looks like it's going to be really special. I don't expect it to be a big movie, but I think it's going to be really good. So I'm really excited for it, is Clayface. At number 8, Robert Eggers is back with Werwolf. That is the only acceptable pronunciation, by the way, guys. Werwolf. It's coming out. The presentation they showed us at CinemaCon was out of this world. The trailer was absolutely banging. Admittedly, I didn't love Nosferatu, but I loved The Witch. I absolutely love The Northman. And again, The Lighthouse is a movie that I can't stop thinking about, and I still have no idea what the hell was going on in that movie. But he's one of the most interesting directors in the world right now. I think this looks great with Aaron Taylor Johnson in it. Werewolf is at number 8 for me. Werewolf. At number 7, Forgotten Island. Again, I think this is the best animated film of the year. I could not believe how good this was. I didn't think the trailers were very good. The newest one is good. The newest trailer is good, but I didn't think the first trailer they put up for it was any good. I didn't even want to go see the free screening for it at CinemaCon, but because it's got Filipino culture in it, my wife made me go see it, and I'm so glad she did. It's the best animated film of the year. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Forgotten Island. At number 6, coming out soon, we're less than a month away from Spider-Man Brand New Day. How can you not be excited for a brand new Spider-Man movie? Listen, the previous 3, all directed by John Watts, who then went on to be the showrunner for Skeleton Crew, which I thought was great, by the way. I thought that was a really special little series. One of the best things, yeah, I feel comfortable saying, one of the best things that the Disney era Star Wars has done. But now it's being directed by one of my favorite movies, Shang-Chi's director, Destin Daniel Cretton, is directing this one. The trailers have been really good. The box office obviously looks like it's going to be absolutely massive. I'm excited to see it. Spider-Man Brand New Day for me comes in at number 6. All right, now we get into our top 5. And just say that there's a new Tom Cruise movie coming out. I'm interested. Say there's a new Inarritu movie coming out. I'm very interested. Say they're doing it together and then put together the 7 or 8 minute trailer they showed us at CinemaCon for Digger. Guys, this could be the movie that Tom Cruise wins his Academy Award for. This could absolutely be it. I mean, Rob, we only saw 6-7 minutes of it. And after 6 or 7 minutes, I'm like, yeah, he can easily get nominated for Best Actor for this, and he could win. I mean, it doesn't hurt that he's in the hands of one of the most, award decorated directors there is, but Digger looked absolutely incredible. I can't wait for you guys to see the full trailer for it whenever they drop it. So Digger is at my number 5. In my number 4 spot, is The Social Reckoning. Rob, it might surprise you to hear me say, I think this looks better than The Social Network. I don't know that it will be better than The Social Network, but it looks better than The Social Network. Like, you got Mikey Madison returning after winning her Academy Award for Anora. Everybody in it just looks spot on perfect. Jeremy Strong as the new Mark Zuckerberg instantly won me over. And you mesh into that the true storyness of it with just the incredible dramatic shifts that you have maybe the greatest screenwriter of the last 30 years writing it. This looks great. So for me at number 4 is The Social Reckoning. At number 3, you knew it was going to be in the top 3. Well, you knew what my top 3 were going to be, just maybe not the order. At number 3 is The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's newest film. I don't know if you guys heard this. I mean, I tend not to listen to this stuff too much, but apparently at the first critic screening of it in New York the other day, a critic screening, okay, jaded, crusty critics, apparently got a 5-minute standing ovation at the end of it. The only time I've seen a standing, like people literally stand in their seats and cheer at the end of a critic screening, was the first Avengers movie. That's the only time I saw critics stand up in their seats after the movie was over and applaud. I've never seen it, and I've been to hundreds of these things. Now, again, just because one room really liked it, who knows? So I'm not gonna put too much stock in that, but it is at least worth noting. The Odyssey coming out now on the 16th. We're like 2 weeks away from the movie coming out. Cannot wait. The Odyssey is my number 3. Then it's just down to the top 2. In my number 2 spot is the Avengers Doomsday. It's an Avengers movie. The leaks are all out there. It sounds insanely good. The story is great. Now, how's it going to play it on screen? We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, I have absolutely loved every Avengers movie. I even think Age of Ultron gets better and better with time. So yeah, obviously Avengers Doomsday. And that leaves but one movie that nobody doubted would be my number 1, which is of course Dune 3. I think and I stand by this, I believe Dune 2 is the best movie made in the last 10 years. I don't think there's been a better movie in 10 years. And they showed us the first, what was it, 7 minutes, Rob? 7, 8 minutes of it? They showed us the opening 7 or 8 minutes of Dune 3 at CinemaCon back in April.
Bruh.
And is it fair to say that everybody was gobsmacked? Like, it was
and that's the only word that you could say. Gobsmack was the word. Gobsmack to me is like I think of it as a British word. It's very specific. You save it for special occasions. Dune 3, that footage was one of those occasions.
I don't know if the rest of the movie sucks. Maybe it does. But guys, wait till you see the opening of Dune 3. I was stressed and freaking out and amazed and everything all at once. And yeah, again, since I love the first Dune movie so much, and I think Dune 2 is the best film made in the last 10 years, it's no surprise that Dune 3 would be up there at my number 1 spot. So there it is, guys. At number 10, The Invite. Cannot wait to watch this. Number 9, Clayface. Number 8, Werewolf. At number 7, Forgotten Island. At number 6, Spider-Man Brand New Day. At number 5, Digger. At number 4, The Social Reckoning. At number 3, The Odyssey. At number 2, Avengers Doomsday. And at number 1, Dune 3. Rob, we now throw it open to you. I think the second half of 2026 looks significantly better than the first half did, even though we had some big winners in the first half. What are your 10 most anticipated films still to come in 2026?
Okay, I'm going to give you a lightning round of my
honorable mentions.
Here you go. I'm just going to run through it quickly. I Play Rocky, Clara and the Sun, Other Mommy, Late Fame, I Want Your Sex, Resident Evil, Ray Gun, Madden, Clayface, and Evil Dead Burn.
That's a good list, man.
That's my
a
second
list, and that's not even in your top list.
Not even in your top 10. That's a great list.
Not even in my top 10. My top 10, starting at number 10, as you said, Robert Eggers' return to horror where he belongs. I can't get enough. Werewolf. Call it what it is. What more needs to be said? At number 9, from the director of Train to Busan, a different kind of evolving zombie movie, Colony. New trailer just dropped.
I totally forgot about Colony.
Cannot wait to see this film. Oh my God. I love new spins on the zombie genre. At number 8, Digger. After we saw it, of course, you talked about it already. Inarritu's new movie with Tom Cruise looks crazy. Can't wait. Let's see. That's it's number 7, The Social Reckoning.
Yes, sir.
Which can't wait to see it. I mean, you know me. I think The Social
Network.
The Social Network is one of the most rewatchable movies of all time. After that, the most stress-inducing trailer I think of all time, Whale Fall. Whale Fall. Can't wait to see Whale Fall. And after that, a movie that I can't even believe it exists, written by Quentin Tarantino and directed by David Fincher, The Adventures of Cliff Booth, starring, I love Tarantino. I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I can't believe we're getting, I guess, a sequel to it.
Yeah,
I
sort of.
guess.
Yeah, basically it is.
That's some crazy ass shit.
Sequel, spin-off. I don't know what would be the proper category for it.
Shot just blocks from my home.
You know, absolutely. And then, of course, the top 4. These are not going to surprise anybody. Beginning with number 4, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Number 3, The Odyssey. Number 2, Avengers Doomsday. And John and I are of the same mind. Number 1, the greatest example of verisimilitude in an epic science fiction movie ever, Denis Villeneuve's Dune 3.
So we got the same top 3.
Same top 3.
Same top 3. Jonathan, I didn't just put you on the spot. I didn't tell you to prepare anything, but if you had to say off the top of your head the 2 or 3 ones that you are most looking forward to in the second half of the year, what would they be?
Oh, it's got to be Odyssey is in there. It's the same. I know it's not original, but it's like, come on, it's Avengers Doomsday, Dune 3, and The Odyssey. I mean, I would forego any of the other movies to see those 3.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Rob mentioned Whale Fall, because that's definitely on my top 10 list to see.
Yeah, that was, remember when I said I started this off, so I
Yeah.
had like 9 films on my honorable mention.
Yeah.
Whale Fall was definitely one of
Mhm.
them. I'm excited to see that too. But anyway, there you go, guys. Second half of 2026 looks positively stacked. I cannot wait for this half of the year. Obviously, we've got Odyssey coming out in a couple of weeks, and we got Spider-Man coming. It's going to be like just boom, 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 boom between now and the end of the year. Can't wait. What are your most anticipated films for the rest of the year? Whatever they are, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, there have been reports going around the last couple of days that DC is now, and it needs to be mentioned here that neither James Gunn, Peter Safran, or anybody else has confirmed these reports, but you guys have seen the headlines and the stories going around that DC is planning on prioritizing, some outlets using the words fast tracking or whatever, different words, some of the same meaning, a Deathstroke and Bane. I almost said Deathstroke and Wolverine. That would be an interesting movie to watch.
There's actually someone made an image of that. I almost grabbed it. Oh,
Of
well.
Deathstroke and Wolverine?
Yeah, they
Okay,
changed into Deathstroke.
that would be fun. But of a Deathstroke and Bane movie. And I have thoughts. Because while they are two extremely interesting characters, and make no mistake, a movie I would be their opening day to watch, I have to right now question the wisdom of prioritizing a Deathstroke and Bane movie. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good idea sometime to do a Deathstroke and Bane movie.
Probably a really fun movie.
Probably a very fun movie.
Yeah.
That I would want to see, that I would personally very much like to see. But here's the reason why I'm going to question why I don't think this is a good idea for DC right now. And again, let me reemphasize, James Gunn and Peter Safran haven't come out and said there's any truth to this, but it is the story that just keeps going around right now. So if it were true, I think it's a bad decision. I'll tell you why. You know, I'm one of the guys who have been saying, you know, even before Superman came out, that because of the absolute disemboweling and gutting of DC's reputation done by the DCEU, you got to remember when James Gunn and Peter Safran walked in and took office, they inherited a pile of ash and rubble. DC was decimated. The audience had abandoned them. Everybody had lost faith in them. Like 3 or 4 of their last 7 or 8 films made like right around $200 million. And a couple of them were actually pretty good, but overall the reputation for it was absolute crap. And they were sitting there with this absolutely decimated mess. And because of that, I said for a long time that when they come out of the gate with Superman, you have to understand it can't possibly make a ton of money because of the state DCU's in. Everybody's given up on it. I said the number one thing they've got to accomplish is make the movie good. Make it so the critics like it. Make it so the audiences like it. And if you can make some money, bonus. But the first couple of films, the important thing for the long-term health and the long-term possibilities for a brand new DCU is not making money with the first couple of ones. It's reestablishing the reputation. So Superman comes out and it surprisingly does all 3. It actually makes money, made more money than the previous 7 DCEU films, had great critic scores, fabulous audience scores, had made over 90% with audience scores. And it was just an absolute triumph. Well done. But it's not mission accomplished. It's not game over. They then needed to follow that up with Supergirl. And as we all saw, Supergirl tripped and fell on their face. I don't think it was a particularly good movie, and it's absolutely tanked at the box office. All right, that's fine. we've got Lanterns, Clayface, and Man of Tomorrow coming. And God willing, by the end of that, they will be, 4 out of 5. Superman's a win. Hopefully Lanterns will be a win. Hopefully Clayface will be a win. And hopefully Man of Tomorrow will be. Whether they are or not, we'll have to wait and find out. But we're going to say we hope they are. And then on the other side, we've got the failure that is Supergirl. So great. But here's the problem. While I have strongly, firmly asserted that the big need for the first couple of films of the DCU is not making money, it's reestablishing the identity, reestablishing the reputation, rehabilitating the image, and setting up for future success. And I still believe that. Here's the point. At some point, it does become about making money. When you're 5, 6, 7 projects in, as much as I believe it's not about making money at first, it's about rehabilitating the image. At some point, you have to cross that precipice. At some point, a switch has to flip. At some point, you do have to be in a position of, now that hopefully we've rehabilitated the image, we've developed a reputation of some quality stuff, now it's about making movies that the audience is like and make money. And I'm sorry, but as much as, guys, I would love to see a Deathstroke and Bane movie, and I think both of you guys are probably in the same camp as I am.
100%.
Who else is? Outside of people who make shows like this and the people who watch it, who else is? My aunt doesn't know who Deathstroke is.
How dare she?
She will.
My uncle doesn't know who Bane is. Oh, you mean Tom Hardy from that one Batman movie? Oh, that guy?
Right.
This is not a title that is going to be bringing them in. Now, again, at some point, I think you can make a Bane and Deathstroke movie. I do think you can. But a Bane and Deathstroke in a DCU that would be 5 projects in and we still don't have a Batman? A Bane and Deathstroke movie we're 5 or 6 projects in and we still don't have Wonder Woman? And we still don't, as we go down the list, we still don't have a Flash? And we still don't have an Aquaman?
Yeah.
And like in a DCU that you made a Supergirl movie, which is a derivative B-level character. And if it could have lived up to its potential, it could have been a big win, but it wasn't. And now you're going to do Clayface, which I think is going to be great. And it's perfect for right now. That's fine. And we're doing a Lanterns TV series. I mean, it just seems very odd to me of a choice. Again, which may not be true because neither James Gunn or Peter Safran have confirmed this. But for the sake of this discussion, let's go with the reports and say it's true, just for the moment. It strikes me as a very odd choice to be rolling out films like this when we haven't yet established the big bangers, really, other than Superman. And again, I don't think they needed to start the DCU with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman movies. That's how you got to do it. I'm not saying that. But to roll out a Clayface standalone film, to roll out a Lanterns HBO series, to then do a second Superman film, then to roll out something like a Deathstroke and Bane before you've established the other 2 members of the Trinity in the DCU with Wonder Woman and Batman, some of the other bigger, more commercially successful and commercially appealing characters that DC has, it just seems like it would be a very odd choice. A choice I'll be there opening day with bells on to watch, but I think I'm going to have a lot of seats to choose from because I don't think a lot of other people are. And at some point, you got to think about making money. And we're getting to that point. Rob, let me ask you. You saw these reports going around that DC is going to be now prioritizing, whatever that word really means, Deathstroke and Bane. How are you as an individual feeling about a project like that? And then if you're in the executive offices at DC, are you cheering it on? Are you raising concerns? How do you feel about this?
Well, I did a really long show last night about this very subject. And, we were sort of promised, and if you go back and you read comments that James Gunn and Peter Safran were making about the DC universe that they were going to build back in 2023, that they were going to methodically build this universe out. Now, I've often said, John, I've said it on this show, never put your universe before your characters and your stories. But in this case, they have their characters and their stories. They know who they are. And the important thing is, I was really excited for a cohesive, the stories and characters can be all different tones and flavors and everything, but they'll all exist within the same universe. And they'll be building it slowly, brick by brick by brick, by presumably telling us the best stories that they can come up with. And I was just assuming that we would have a combination of heavy hitter and lesser film. Now, this is all what I was thinking in my head based on what I would do if I was in the position. But like you just pointed out, to me, when you have two, I mean, the Deathstroke, the Terminator, Slade Wilson is one of my favorite DC villains because of what he meant to the original George Perez and Marv Wolfman run of Teen Titans. It was a formative comic book for me in the early 80s, right up there with with X-Men, and Slade Wilson was the most dangerous villain, incredible villain. Well, putting Bane, who, by the way, on one hand has Tom Hardy, but on the other hand has Batman and Robin on the big screen.
Ugh.
You know, to have these two villains together, putting two villains together without a hero seems sort of counterproductive, because it's not, this is going to seem weird, it's not mythic enough. It's not what you're accepting. Even Clayface, which is a villain movie, at its core, it's about a man whose body was violated. At its core, it's a body horror film, which we can always relate. What if something terrible happens to our own bodies that house our consciousness, our soul? That's why the movie The Fly is so important. So I can see how Clayface is one of those lesser films that's totally going to work. But making Bane and Deathstroke a marquee film seems to me, it's like they're canceling each other out. I mean, unless the script is amazing and they have a story to tell that I can't imagine what that is, I don't even see them teaming up the way they've been presented in the comics before. I mean, unless you're going to do a Legion of Doom movie or something. I mean, they're not the movies our audience wants to see. I hate to say it, but I want to see a combination of Superman. I would consider Supergirl the lesser movie. Now give me Batman and then something lesser. Build that universe out. I mean, there's even more. I'd be more excited for a Legion of Superheroes movie set in the 30th century than I would be for a Bane and Deathstroke film. And Deathstroke is somebody I would like to see interact with the Teen Titans. He's their marquee villain, Trigon and Deathstroke. And I don't know why they are going to put their eggs in that basket.
I should say this. Somebody in the live chat just did give me a very fascinating idea. Somebody in the live chat just said a Deathstroke and Bane movie directed by Guy Ritchie.
Okay.
Take my money.
Yeah,
take all my money.
But then it would have to be like a low budget, more of a Clayface, I would watch that movie. I would trust Guy Ritchie to deliver that.
I think you hit I think it would need to be a lower mid-tier budget.
Yeah.
You can't go
for sure
massive with this. No way. That's a mistake.
Again, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm not saying it should never be done, but you have to, you got to get people built up and excited and bought into this universe at some point. And to do this movie without, I think it's fine to do Clayface without having done Batman first. That's fine. But at some point you're going to be 4 or 5 movies in. Is this the time to do Bane and Deathstroke? I just don't see it.
I also think a mistake, looking back, Monday morning quarterbacking a movie like Supergirl, one of the things about superheroes is they have to react with human beings that are not. So you can see the contrast between what they have to do. And one of the interesting things about the first phases, the 2 movies that I keep going back to, Captain America, the First Avenger, and the first Iron Man. You saw these characters before they became superheroic interacting with real people. Even though Tony Stark was a billionaire inventor, in the opening of that movie, you see him interacting with the military. And with Captain America, the first Avenger, you see Steve Rogers' his friendship with Bucky. You see what kind of a man he is interacting with the US military again. And then you watch their transformation into superheroes. But you have to have that humanity, that baseline, before they can be considered superheroic. And I think one of the problems with Supergirl is, while yes, she came to Earth with powers, we never got to see how does Supergirl react with our world. You know, she talks about, well, Clark believes in the good in people and I see the truth. What truth? What people? We haven't seen, there was no montage of her. You could have had a montage that opened that movie where she's being superheroic, but she's uncomfortable with the role she's been placed into. Because not only did she come from a dead world, but now suddenly as Supergirl, would she be thrust into the limelight and made superheroic to a planet she just arrived in?
And
I mean, that
expect
could
to behave like her cousin who had a different
exactly, and
experience.
that could have been a great, like, a way to open that film.
Yeah.
Where you
Yeah.
see that she's totally uncomfortable. A superhero that's superheroic, but has social anxiety about the very people that she's supposed to protect because she doesn't know them.
Right. Well, before we dive deep into relitigating Supergirl.
Yeah, I don't mean to do that. I'm just, but that's why Bane and Deathstroke, the reason that they are villains is because they're playing off heroes that we already know. And if we already know these heroes, if we have villains that are formidable, like Batman and the Teen Titans, because that's where those two characters come from, then we know something about them. But you put two villains together, are they villains yet? Because we don't see their relationship to the people that they're villainous against.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? The report's going around right now. Again, non-verified. Let me triple down on that. Non-verified by DC, by Warner Brothers, by James Gunn, by Peter Safran. But a lot of them are claiming that DC is now prioritizing a Deathstroke and Bane film. We kind of feel like this is bad timing. Maybe you disagree. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's quickly move on to this, shall we? Just less than a month away now. Less than a month away is Spider-Man Brand New Day. And of course, there are rumors and reports and whispers abounding around online. One of them, of course, you guys have probably heard for a while now, is that Florence Pugh and her character Yelena are going to be making an appearance in the film. That's been around for a long time. Nothing new there. But right now, according to a new report, not only is she going to be in it, but apparently there's going to be kind of an intimate, not safe for work sort of scene between Peter Parker and Yelena in it. As the headline here in Yahoo Entertainment says, Spider-Man 4 rumor reveals sensual scene between Peter Parker and a big MCU character who is an MJ, which is, of course, going to be Yelena. And what they have to say is this. According to scooper Daniel RPK, who again is hit and miss, but one of the more reputable guys around. According to scooper Daniel RPK, Spider-Man 4 could see Tom Holland's Peter and Florence Pugh's Yelena share a sensual scene. Part of Yelena Boliva's role in Spider-Man Brand New Day is her and Peter seeing each other naked, wrote the scooper in one of their posts. Pugh has been rumored to appear in the film for many months. However, Pugh's involvement remains unconfirmed and should be treated as a rumor. Neither Sony Pictures nor Marvel Studios have commented on Pugh's involvement with Spider-Man Brand New Day. All right. So, first of all, I gotta say, I have really enjoyed Florence Pugh's Yelena character ever since that mediocre Black Widow movie. Again, it wasn't bad. Black Widow wasn't bad. It certainly had its upsides, particularly David Harbour as Red Guardian, who's one of my favorite new characters in the MCU. But, I mean, I fell in love with Yelena as well. I thought her appearance in Hawkeye was great. I loved her in Thunderbolts. I really like the character. And it makes sense, since she's in New York, that maybe she might pop up as well in a Spider-Man movie. That makes sense. But I also love the idea, and let me rain on the parade. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to break this to you. But even if this report is true, and I have a feeling it is, even if this report is true, you are not going to see Florence Pugh naked. You're not going to see Yelena naked. It'll be implied in the scene
Not
that she's nude.
Oppenheimer after all.
Yeah, this isn't Oppenheimer, which you can go and watch if you want to see her naked. I really don't think in Spider-Man they're going to do that, but it'll be implied. I love the idea of this scene, and I'll tell you why. Because Peter is such an awkward character. And the one thing, that's something that I think both the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield movies did well, is they leaned a lot into his awkwardness. And I think they have done that in places, but I think it's something they could do even more with the Tom Holland Spider-Man. And to me, this is the kind of scene that could be gold. A scene like this could be absolute gold. And I could sort of see it in my head playing out now, that like whatever the scene is, the two of them see each other naked, and like Peter's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," like freaking out. And Yelena's like, whatever. Like I could totally see that playing out, which I think would be grand and great. So look, there's two levels to this report, right? Level number one is yet another thing saying that she's going to be in it. Again, to me, it makes sense. She fits in that world. I could see it probably more than a cameo, but not too much more, like maybe being in 5 or 10 minutes of the film, something like that. So I buy into that. Then there's the nature of this scene. I just think, again, for me, guys, it's a scene that would lean into the awkwardness of Peter Parker. I think it would be really fun for the audience. I think it would be really funny in the moment. And I think it would be a great way to use those characters. So anyway, Rob, you hear this report. It comes down to a couple of different things. One, do you think it makes sense, and do you believe the reports that Florence Pugh is going to be appearing in the movie at all? And then secondly, what do you think about this report coming out now that they're actually going to have this really awkward scene where the two of them see each other naked? Do you buy into that part? Does that seem out of character for them to do something like that in a Spider-Man movie? I don't know. What are you thinking about it right now?
Well, the plausibility of it, first of all, I believe that it could have happened because they were shooting Doomsday and they were shooting, Spider-Man was shooting on the streets of Scotland that was doubling for New York at certain points. And they were shooting Doomsday in England. So Scotland, England, I totally believe that they could have figured out a scene and put them in the movie together. And again, it's a lot of fun. And considering how many villains and how many characters are already in Spider-Man, why not? I could totally see that. Heck, I could see her in that shot with Spider-Man. But so I believe it. I believe it's very plausible. And I think, it really could, because they haven't met before. So, they could probably be, if they were working together, or if they found themselves fighting on the same side, or even on opposite sides for whatever reason, there would be a mutual respect as they go mano a mano, because I'm sure Yelena, being a spy and now a superhero, knows all about Spider-Man because he participated in these other things. And she wouldn't have ever met Peter Parker anyway. So he's only ever been Spider-Man, and she would probably be intrigued by him. So I could see the scene when I don't know how they both find themselves naked, or maybe in the heat of battle, it, gets their blood pressure racing. And, Peter Parker doesn't have to be a monk. So I could see something like that happen to very humorous effect, especially with everything else going on in this movie. Plus, he's having all of these genetic anomalies or whatever. So you never know what's happening. I like the idea overall, John. I like it. And plus, I am a huge Florence Pugh fan. I think she's terrific. And I would love to see a scene like this, to be honest.
I think it would be a lot of fun for them to do something like that. And again, like to people, and I've seen some people in live chat saying they're not going to do something that hardcore. Guys, lots of PG movies can, if you just, it depends on your camera angles and your shots and certain place things.
You just do it over the shoulder.
Nudity.
You do an
Yeah.
over the shoulder shot, which implies that she's frontal nudity to him in the background. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
Austin
it's
Powers that
very
stuff.
yeah, it's very easy. Television shows do that.
Yeah.
It's not
Mhm.
difficult to do, and you could be creating a really fun, awkward moment that I just think it sounds like it would be a lot of fun in the movie. Again, look, do I know that this scene is happening in the film? Absolutely not. We're just going off what this report is. That may or may not be true. But again,
Yeah.
you know, with Daniel RPK, might be true, might not be, but you know, he's definitely gotten a number of things completely right. So we'll see where that goes. I personally am buying into it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this on two different levels? One, yet another of a long list of reports saying that Florence Pugh would be appearing in the film. But secondly, the idea of this little fun scene where the two of them are in this awkward situation. I think it sounds like it would be a lot of fun and play right into the Peter character's awkwardness. But whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to taking your live comments and questions. Now, just so you know, I am going to be turning off the super chats in just a moment because there are already a hell of a lot of them in there. So I'm going to be turning them off in just a moment. But before we get over to your live questions, going to bid good afternoon to one Jonathan Voico. Jonathan, thanks for being here.
See you guys later.
And of course, Robert Meyer Burnett. We'll talk to you on Monday, my friend.
John, if I might make a suggestion, Fathom is putting the original, the only Citizen Kane in theaters this weekend
Really?
for its 85th anniversary.
I saw that.
And I know that if people always say, "Oh, how is Citizen Kane the best movie of all time?" It truly is a staggering cinematic achievement. And to be able, I've never seen it in the theater.
I've never seen it on the big screen either.
Yeah, so I am going this Sunday to see it at the Irvine Spectrum, and I would suggest if everybody wants a treat, as long as you temper your judgment, you're watching an 85-year-old movie. So it is one of the greatest movies ever made. So if I might make a suggestion, go check out Citizen Kane in the theater if you can.
All right, and we will talk to you guys on Monday. Have a good one, guys.
All right.
All right.
All right, guys, and that means it is time for us to move over now and start taking your live comments and questions. By the way, just in case some of you are wondering why I just said to both Rob and Jonathan that we will see them on Monday, is because there will not be a John Campea show tomorrow. My wife Ann and I are about to embark on an epic date weekend. Let me tell you a little bit about it. We're starting tonight by going to the Nixon Presidential Center for a string quartet rendition of Four Seasons. So we're going to go do that tonight. After that, we're going to get in the car and drive to Las Vegas, where we're going to do an epic restaurant crawl. Tomorrow, we're going to start with lunch at the Bacchanal, the best, I think, buffet in the world at Caesars. Later in the evening, we're going to be going to Ann's favorite restaurant called Peter Luger's. The following morning, we're going to get up and go to Tom's watch room for Team Canada game at 10 a.m. And then we're going to watch Team France's game at 2 p.m. Later in the evening, we're going to go to a restaurant neither of us have been to that we've always wanted to go to called Nobu. So we're going to go do that. Then early Sunday morning, we're going to drive back, get back in time to watch ourselves some House of the Dragon, followed by our weekly game of Dungeons and Dragons on Sunday night. It is truly an epic date weekend for Ann and I, and looking forward to doing that. So yes, at any rate, with that down, guys. Oh, we're starting to get some stuttering here in the stream. I know why we are. Hang tight with it, guys. The stuttering won't last too awful long, I promise. Okay. With that down, let's get over to your live questions here, shall we? Just give me a moment to get these brought up because I do, of course, now run the show myself with Jonathan not in the studio. So let's bring up your questions. All right. Let's jump into the first one here, shall we? And who are we starting off with? We are starting off, I think it looks like Yakov, I believe. And Yakov writes, Scary Movie 1 through 5 versus Final Destination 1 through 5. Worse. Scary Movie to me. Now, look, I know that won't be a particularly popular one to say because I know there are those of you out there who are fans of the Scary Movie franchise. I'm not. I've never found them particularly funny. Not that they haven't had their moments. They have. I also don't think the Final Destination franchise has been all that good until the most recent one. The most recent one was incredible. But I did like one or two of the Final Destination ones. So I'll say the better one out of Scary Movie 1 through 5 versus Final Destination 1 through 5, I think the better one is Final Destination. That's just me. All right. Let's see here. Next up, we got Orlando Rodriguez, who writes, one of two. Everyone forgets Endgame made over $350 million opening weekend because almost every screen in a theater was playing it. That's not necessarily true. But anyway, in a world when you have Doom and Dune on the same weekend, I don't think you can make all screens Doom. No, you certainly can't. Therefore, it will never be able to make close to $350 million. Bad idea, I think. Well, I mean, I think there's a couple things you're missing here, Orlando, to be honest. Number one is it wasn't playing on every screen. And it will definitely be playing on more screens than Dune. And I think you're going to get a lot of double featuring going on. I think you're going to get a lot of people that are going to be doing double features for this. And, oh, I'm seeing my bit rate. Don't worry. I know this stream is kind of a little choppy right now, but just hang tight. It will not last much longer that way. I'm just uploading a major file to Jonathan right now, and it's only going to take a few more minutes, and then that'll be done. So there's that. But the second thing is this. Endgame does not need to make all of its money on its opening weekend. Right? Endgame doesn't need to make all of its money on opening weekend. It's going to make a lot of money after its opening weekend. Like, yeah, it made $350 million, but it went on to make almost $3 billion. And so if there are people who are going to see Dune, and I'm sure there's going to be some, if there are people who are going to be going to see Dune instead of Doomsday first, they'll just go see Doomsday later. I mean, having opening weekend records is nice, but at the end of the day, it's just really all about the final big box office total. So, and they're betting that creating this massive event of Doomsday is going to drive even more people. Like, their thought is that it's going to drive more people to the theater than maybe even would have gone to see Dune or Doomsday otherwise. So maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but I think this is a gamble that could work out. Like, again, initially I thought it was questionable, but I've come around to thinking this could work out really well in their favor. So we'll have to see. All right. So let's move on here. Next up. Thank you, Orlando, for that. Appreciate that, man. We've got Patrick Hamilton who writes, what do you think the chances are that before Secret Wars comes out, that they will be announcing that it will be split into 2 movies, or will it have the longest runtime beating Endgame? Honestly, I don't think either. I don't think they're going to be splitting Secret Wars into 2 films, and I don't think it's going to be the longest film. Because when you look at the real basic story, if you go back to the comic, and I'm sure it's going to be different from the comic, but if you go back to the story in the comics, it really doesn't require that long of a movie. I mean, yeah, long, yes. But it doesn't require a 4-hour movie. If you really look at the nuts and bolts of the story of Secret Wars, it doesn't need, number one, it certainly doesn't need 2 movies. Doesn't need to be 2 movies. The other thing is, it doesn't need to be like a 3.5+ hour film either. It really can be done fully fleshed out, exhaustively done, well paced out. It could easily be done in 3 hours. Easily can be done in 3 hours. Now, don't misunderstand me. I am not telling you for fact that Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars is not going to be split in 2. I don't know that for a fact. I haven't talked to Kevin Feige about it, but you're asking me, and I think neither. I don't think it's going to be split in half, and I don't think it's going to be the longest film because it really doesn't need to be. That's kind of my take on it. So I might be right. I might be wrong. I'm just guessing like you. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Thanks, Patrick. Next up. Yakov writes, Supergirl pitch meeting now out. I love pitch meetings, and I'm really excited. I didn't know that one was out yet. I'm very excited to watch the Supergirl pitch meeting. That could be a lot of fun. All right. Ryan Looney writes, 1 of 3. Sadie Sink has an incredible run these past 2 years. Just look at the timeline. In December of 2024, she wraps filming on Stranger Things, returns to Broadway in 2025 for 6 months and gets a Best Actress Tony nomination at 22. Film adaptation on the way with her as executive producer. In 2026, she has Spider-Man and her debut on West End. And yes, I said returned on stage. She was Annie with Helen Mirren, age 7. I mean, yeah, listen, a very good run right now for Sadie Sink. I mean, that's not an iconic run. I mean, we've had actors and actresses with like better 2 or 3 year runs than that, but it's definitely good to be Sadie Sink right now. And if she is in fact Jean Grey, which we will find out very shortly if she is or not. But if it does turn out that she is in fact Jean Grey, then not only is it good to be Sadie Sink right now, it's going to be good to be Sadie Sink for a long time to come, if she is indeed our new Jean Grey. All right. Next up, Alan writes, hey, John, big fan of the show. Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate that. Will you be doing a spoiler discussion stream for Spider-Man Brand New Day? Absolutely. 100%. We'll be doing a Spider-Man Brand New Day spoiler. What I generally do the spoiler discussions on the Sunday after it opens. So that way everybody's got Thursday to go see it. Everybody's got Friday to go see it. Everybody's got Saturday to go see it. And you even got the first part of Sunday. So yes, 100%. We will be doing a open spoiler discussion on Spider-Man Brand New Day on the Sunday of its opening weekend. So thanks for asking, man. All right. Next up, Eugene sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Eugene. Appreciate that, man. Thank you for the support. And Eugene writes, hot take. Tenet is one of my top 5 all-time favorite movies. Took me 5 to 10 watches to really understand it. I think that if people cared to take time to watch/analyze it, they would much better appreciate its genius. All right. Thanks a lot for writing that in, Eugene. And listen, that's the most beautiful thing about all of movies is their subjectivity. Right? Just because other people don't totally treasure a movie doesn't mean it doesn't hit you in a completely different and better way. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the beautiful thing about film. And I'm glad you liked it that much. I did not, personally. I think it's Christopher Nolan's weakest film, but I still enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. It's in a thumbs up or thumbs down world. I'm a thumbs up on it. It's my least favorite of Christopher Nolan's films. Now, that being said, let me touch on something you said here. You said it took you 5 to 10 watches to really understand it. And I think if people cared to take the time to analyze it, they would much better appreciate it. Here's the thing. One of the really important skills as a storyteller is if it takes your audience 5 to 10 times watching it to get it, then that's on you as the storyteller. To me, that tells me that in the telling of this particular story, you were deficient in telling your story. Because what good is a storyteller if his audience doesn't understand what it is, the story you're trying to tell and the story you're trying to convey? Any movie to me that requires you to watch it 5 to 10 times and deeply analyze it to get what it is the director is going for, then that is a deficiency on the directors. It is the director's responsibility to tell their story in such a way that it hits their audience, on the first viewing. That's your job. And Christopher Nolan is clearly one of the best in the world, but one of the reasons why I personally think Tenet wasn't one of his best outings is that I did find the movie a bit convoluted. And I would suggest that if it took you 5 to 10 times to really appreciate it, then that's a problem with the movie. That's a problem with the movie. But anyway, that's just my kind of thing. Again, and I'm not taking away from your enjoyment of it. I love that you loved it. I just think an audience should not be expected to watch a movie 5 to 10 times to get what the director was going for. That's just me. That's just me. But thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, Eugene. Appreciate it, man. And again, thank you for supporting us on that level. All right. Animesh writes, Amazon has slowly crept up to being my third favorite studio / distributor / streamer overall, after Warner Brothers #1 and Apple TV #2. How would you rank them? I don't really do rankings, but I mean, to me, the gold standard is still HBO. I mean, if you're trying to combine the studio with the streamer, yeah, to be honest with you, when I think about them, I separate. I think in terms of streamers, I think in terms of studios. When it comes to streaming, HBO is still the gold standard. But I'll tell you what, very closely second to them now has become Apple TV. Apple doesn't put out near the quantity of, say, something like a Netflix. But whenever Apple puts something out now, you just kind of assume it's going to be awesome. Like they have put out really high level stuff. Really, really high level stuff. And as long as you're not talking about original movies, Netflix puts out really high quality streaming television stuff. And now Warner Brothers has had a hell of the last couple of years. Like they just recently set the all-time Hollywood record for most movies opening to over $40 million. And they broke their own record. They've won Academy Awards, a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty good. But I don't combine the streaming entity with the overall studio when I think about it. I usually think about them in two different terms. All right, thanks for that, Animesh. Al writes, my top 5 favorite of 2026 so far. Number 5, Sheep Detectives. Love it. Number 4, Cosmic Princess Cayuga. I've not seen it myself. 3, The Furious. I really enjoyed that. Number 2, Obsession. Number 1, same as my number 1, Project Hail Mary. Again, I don't think Project Hail Mary will end the year still being my number 1 favorite film, but it still is easily my number 1 so far. I am still absolutely floored by it, and I'm going to watch it like probably 5 more times. All right. Connor Mullis writes, would you ever do an open mic discussing the info in the Doomsday leaked plot with heavy spoiler warning? No. One of the main reasons is, and look, I get it, but you know, I've had some really bad experiences. Like, look, going back to the whole Spider-Man picture leak thing, you know, I had somebody just send me those pictures and I thought, I got the Spider-Man pictures. I thought they were fake. Now, look, there had been reports for over a year that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home. Like 2 weeks before I posted the pictures, a video got leaked online of Andrew Garfield shooting Spider-Man, whatever, and all that kind of stuff. But I got these pictures and I thought they were fake, and I posted them and I said, here's why I think these are fake. Then I got a call from somebody who said, John, those are actually real. And within 7 or 8 minutes, I pulled them down. The problem is within those 7 or 8 minutes, 5 or 6 people took them, copied them, and started spreading them around online. And I got, deservedly so, I took a lot of heat for that. Even though the reports had already been out there and even though there was already a video out there. But I got a lot of heat for that, and deservedly so. So I tried to learn my lesson, and but still remember, everybody, look at Tobey Maguire's dick. So because of that, I am not anxious to repeat the experience I had from when I released those Spider-Man pictures. I am not. And you know, full credit to Disney too. Like when my guy at Disney got a hold of me, he said, look, everybody here knows you didn't do this on purpose. Everybody knows. We know totally you didn't do it on purpose. But then they did ask me, but you got to tell us who sent them to you. And I'm like, I'm not a snitch. I'm not going to, and I didn't. I never revealed who sent me the pictures. Never have, never will. But that being said, you guys would not believe the stuff I get sent. Like, you really wouldn't. I mean, I don't talk about it on the show. And I'll just say it here briefly. I had some clips of Superman long before Superman came out. I have some clips of Spider-Man Brand New Day on my computer right now. There are a few things I know. I have I have some very tantalizing set pictures of some very hotly anticipated upcoming movies. I get sent this shit all the time, but I have learned, I like to think I've learned my lesson. I have learned my lesson from that sort of stuff. And I just don't, I've learned to just sit on it and not bring it up or say anything. Now, the stuff with Doomsday, like I would bring up, and you know, I hear some people whine and cry and bitch and complain that I'll often bring up when Doomsday comes up and we're talking about Doomsday, that I do often repeat the fact that, hey, listen, I and Rob both, we've been read in on all the stuff that happens in Doomsday. And so, but why does John keep saying it? Well, because it's a matter of integrity. Like, so if we're going to talk about Doomsday, remember every show we have new people watching, I want to make sure I set the context clear and just to be upfront that as we're talking about Doomsday, we know about this stuff. And I'm going to keep mentioning that because I think it's important to do it. But when it comes to all the other stuff, I just never mention it. I just never bring it. So no, unfortunately, I am not going to be doing an open mic where we talk about all the spoilers, because then anything, like I can put up a spoiler warning, but here's the truth. I'll put up a spoiler warning. That's fine. But then everybody's going to take everything I say in it and they're going to spread it around everywhere where people who don't have a spoiler warning are going to hear it. And then I'm going to get blamed for it. Right. So no, I will not be doing an open spoiler discussion of Avengers Doomsday before Avengers Doomsday comes out. Anyway, and that's why. All right. With that down, let's move on to the next one here. Thank you for that, Connor. Rich Reviews writes, would like to invited to the wedding of Taylor Swift. Like, are you asking me if I would like to be invited to the wedding of Taylor Swift? Sure. I'm not a huge Swiftie, but it sounds like it's going to be the social event of the decade. And I am a fan of the Kelsey brothers, so that would be pretty cool. So would I want to be invited to that? Sure. It's going to be the biggest event of the year. Why not? Let's see. Next up, Connor Mullis writes, my buddy is convinced that both the Venom symbiote and Miles Morales will be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I can guarantee you Miles Morales will not. He's setting himself up for disappointment. Yeah. I don't believe the symbiote is going to be in it. I really don't. But I don't know that for sure. I just don't know that for sure. But Kevin Feige has been very, very clear. When it comes to Miles Morales, Sony has very clearly instructed them, hands off. Kevin Feige hasn't been ambiguous about that. He said that directly in an interview, that when it comes to Miles Morales and those particular characters adjacent to him, Sony has instructed Marvel, complete hands off. Sony has 100% of Miles Morales' attention and energy right now focused to the Spider-Verse movies, not in Marvel. So while I think it's very unlikely that we get the Venom symbiote in Spider-Man Brand New Day, I can't say it's impossible, but I do think you can tell your friend with absolute certainty we're not getting Miles Morales. There's no way in hell Sony's allowing that to happen. And Kevin Feige has said explicitly that he has been told hands off. So no, there will not be Miles Morales. Anyway, but with Venom, who knows? All right. Rich Reviews writes, you must have an awesome pool to swim in. I do have an awesome pool. Actually, I love my pool. I'm proud of my pool. Actually, let me see if I can, I'm sure many of you guys have seen pictures of it, but let me bring a picture of my pool. You know, one of the reasons, we moved, that my wife and I moved from, Burbank, California, directly in LA, out to Riverside, is because, well, mainly we could get like way more house for way less money. So way more house for way less money. That was key. This is our backyard. So we were able to use, like I'll tell you what I paid for my house. I mean, it's worth more now, but when we bought this house a couple of years ago, we were able to get this house for, 550,000, which is a really good deal for the house we got. But if we wanted to buy that same house in Burbank in LA, it was going to cost us like 1.8 million. And I don't talk about our finances very much, but I didn't have $1.8 million to pay for a house. And I don't want a $7,000 or $8,000 monthly mortgage. Thank you very much. So we were able to find this house, with not, and I've never had a pool. I've always wanted a pool. We were able to get this house. That's a more full picture of our backyard. We were able to get this house, for a very reasonable price, and it was worth it to us to move out of LA. And we're not too far. Like, we're only about 45 minutes away from Burbank. Like, if the traffic's not too bad, we only live about 45 minutes outside of it. But yeah. So that's, so yes, I don't mind saying, because we got it for a very reasonable price. So I don't feel like I'm showing off at all, but, yes, we got ourselves a great pool. I absolutely, Ann and I love it. I swim in it all the time. I go sit outside and do my fires many nights. There's a little picture of me by my fire. We actually live on a golf course. That's why when you look over the fence, it's just all trees and fields. As we live right on a golf course, and it's, but again, we got it for a really reasonable price. That's why we were able to do it. So we got pretty lucky there. And yes, I do enjoy using the pool a lot. All right. Thanks for that. Let's see. Oh, I lost my spot here. Where were we? Okay, there we are. Still got a bunch of questions. I got to start going faster. Where you got a lot of a lot of questions to get through. Let's see. M. Jetta writes, streamers should include commentary tracks and behind the scenes. Oh, you mean like movies that are on streaming? Yeah, I completely agree. Well, no, I agree if you buy the movie. Like if you buy the movie or rent the movie. Like if a movie's just being dropped on Disney Plus, I don't think they have to include behind the scenes. I think that can be something like behind the scenes and bonus features. I think that's something that you can reasonably save as special things for people who buy the stuff. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did my stream stop? Hold on a second. Let me double check something here. I think my stream might have stopped. I'm not 100% sure. I think we're still good. Oh, no, we're still good. Okay, yeah. Huh. I thought something went wrong there for a minute. Okay. Anyway, we're back. So let's keep this thing going here, shall we? Let's see. Next up, if I get my stuff back rearranged here, we go to Rich Reviews, who says, book recommendations. Holy shit, A History of Swearing, Implosion, the story of an architect daughter, and Ringmaster, the story of Vince McMahon and the unmasking of America. I tell you what, man, there was a documentary on Vince McMahon recently that was very disturbing, but very interesting and fascinating at the same time. So that sounds like a book that would be pretty good. All right. Bronze writes, Daniel RPK just tweeted some, what's MOT? Anyway, code names for some unannounced characters. Any thoughts or ideas? Oh, Man of Tomorrow. Any thoughts or ideas? Rocket, Jay, Squirrel, Dick, Dastly, Mezcal, Max Headroom. Don't know. No idea. Don't really care, to be honest with you. And again, that's just a rumor. being reported by a scooper that could or could not be true. So there's several layers of like that. So no, I have no idea what they would be talking about or what they would mean. All right. Next up, SWAT writes, "Hey, John, just saw news about a G.I. Joe film script from Danny McBride being turned into Paramount. What do you think chances are that we actually get a good G.I. Joe movie out of this? I think there'd be idiots to make a G.I. Joe movie. I don't think anybody cares about G.I. Joe anymore. I'm just being straight with you. I don't think anybody cares. I think if He-Man taught us anything is that going back to 80s nostalgia doesn't work anymore. Now, you can make an argument for Transformers because Transformers has consistently been a presence for a while, but I honestly think, I don't think people at Paramount are going to greenlight it. And if they do, they're stupid. I just don't think there's interest in it. Now, I would be there. I would go watch it. And I certainly like Danny McBride, but I think the same thing that happened to He-Man would happen to G.I. Joe. I really do. I think it would flop. I really do. Anyway, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm completely wrong, but my gut feelings say that I think it would probably flop. All right. Ben Sessions writes, which nets more, Spider-Man or Doomsday? Easily Doomsday. Easily. Connor Mullis writes, the mystery elements of Sheep Detectives was actually great too. It was a great mystery movie. On top of everything else, it was a great mystery movie. It all makes sense and adds up in the end the way a good mystery movie should. You know what drives me crazy in a lot of mystery movies? Is when they do the big reveal and either it's like, wait a minute, there's no way we could have known that because you withheld a lot of the information. Or two, that doesn't make sense. Like this person being the killer doesn't make sense. It's not consistent with what was in the movie. Sheep Detectives is a great mystery. And when you get to the end of it and it's revealed, you're like, oh, that does all add up. Like it's a wonderfully done mystery movie on top of everything else. You're right about that. I completely agree, Connor. Al writes, best season of Shrinking. They're all amazing. I honestly cannot pick a favorite one. I just can't. I mean, yeah, I can't. I mean, to me, every single season of Shrinking is a 10 out of 10. Just a pure 10 out of 10 every single season. So I can't pick one. I'm not trying to brush off the question, Al. I'm just like, to me, every season is a 10 out of 10. So I just can't say off the top of my head. All right. Curtis Lopez writes, my top 5 of 2026 so far. Number 5, The Furious. Number 4, Toy Story 5. Number 3, The Invite, which I've not seen yet. I cannot wait to watch The Invite. Number 2, Obsession. And number 1, Project Hail Mary. Thanks for sharing that, Curtis. Captain Penis writes, Backrooms, The Bride, Mother Mary, Disclosure Day. Oh, is that your 5 favorite of the year so far? You know, I'm glad you like The Bride. Or is it not? Because you've only got 4 movies there. Anyway, if you're saying you like them, great. The Bride was a movie to me that I was so interested in. They gave us the first previews for it at CinemaCon last year. I thought it looked really fascinating. You got Christian Bale in there. I was really hoping it was going to be great. I thought it looked great. I am not going to lie to you. I was pretty disappointed in myself, but I hope you liked it, Captain. All right. Ken writes, the DCEU burned me enough that one rotten DCU score has me waiting for VOD. Anyone else feel the same? I mean, look, all I can say is that's understandable. It's understandable. I would, and this is difficult to do. I'm not saying it's not, but always try to understand that this is a completely different group of people doing DC now than who was doing DC then. There's not one person who's still there and is associated with it. The people who made the DCEU, it's a completely different organization now. So I would try not to hold what happened under the DCEU against what's going on now, but I don't think what you just said is unreasonable either. I really don't. I don't think what you just said was unreasonable. So I get it. I get it. And they're going to have, that's why I always said, like, when Superman was coming out, I said, Superman's got a huge hill to climb up because of exactly what you just said. All right, next up. Christopher Diaz writes, best of the year so far. Number 1, Project Hail Mary. Totally agree. Number 2, The Furious. Number 3, Obsession. Number 4, Sheep Detectives. Number 5, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Number 6, Tuner. I don't remember that one off the top of my head. Number 7, Is God Is. Number 8, Toy Story 5. Number 9, The Christophers. And number 10, Power Ballad. You know what? I still haven't seen Power Ballad, which is weird because I love Paul Rudd, but I haven't heard good things about it. So even Anne, who loves Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas, has not wanted to go see it because we both heard really bad things, but you enjoyed it. And I'm glad you're the first person to write into me that said that they enjoyed it. I'm glad you did. All right. Jake Toven writes, as a part of the rehabilitation of DCU, I would also point out is excitement. Just making random C-level character projects won't do that, even if it's good. See, that's kind of that's kind of what I was saying a bit earlier. Like, the most important thing, you're not going to get anybody excited in anything DC when DC's reputation is garbage, right? And that's what the DCEU did, right or wrong. And remember, you guys know I liked a lot of the DCEU projects, particularly this guy's movie. But at some point, after a couple of projects, you got to start putting out some things that have bigger commercial viability too, aka stuff that's actually going to get the audience excited. Now, nothing's going to get the audience excited as long as everybody thinks DC equals crap, right? And that's what the DCEU did. DCEU made the general idea out there is that DC equaled garbage. So the first priority is change that perception. So I'm okay with doing 1, 2, 3 projects where getting a huge audience out isn't your top priority. I agree with that. I think that's the smart play. But after 3 or 4 projects, you do start having to think about that. And I'm sorry, but Deathstroke and Bane isn't it. That's not going to get the general movie-going audience excited. So again, I do it at some point, but I think you got to start getting some of the bigger things out there too. Anyway, let's see. Next up, we've got a Vinfrost who writes, could be the Bane and Deathstroke movie be a team up to take on Batman? If it was, then that's a mistake. You just call that movie Batman. You don't call it Deathstroke and Bane. You call it Batman, and then you go from there. So, and to have a Batman movie where you're making your 2 lead characters the villains, that would be a tremendous mistake. So no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you never know, but I don't think so, since you're asking me just off the top of my head. I might change my mind about that, though. NTR Prizing writes, oh, Enterprising, I get. The problem is Brave and the Bold script isn't done yet, and Wonder Woman is just getting worked on. Okay. They've been working on a Brave and the Bold script for well over a year. Now look, I'm not going to pretend writing a good script is easy. Not going to pretend that. But how can you get a Bane and Deathstroke script completely ready to go in a quarter of the time that it takes you to get a Wonder Woman script together, or it takes you to get a Brave and the Bold script together? I mean, maybe take the extreme. Look, there are a lot of reasons not to do this, what I'm about to say. But we might be at the place now where you got to go, hire 3 different sets of writers at the same time and say, all of you write this movie. And then take the best one and start to work on that one. I mean, I don't know, but I just don't accept that you can whip together a Bane and Deathstroke script, but after a year and a half, you can't have a Batman script ready. Again, I'm not trying to make it sound like it's easy. It's not easy, but it's been a long fucking time, man. It's been a long time. Anyway, next up, A. Marcellus writes in, I guess I have no choice but to trust Gunn and Safran, but I found it odd that we have not seen the other main DC heroes yet, but we are getting Batman villain movies before seeing Batman. I mean, as of right now, I'm fine that we haven't seen Batman. We've only had 2 movies, right? I don't think you have to have Batman in the first 2. But once you get to the 4th movie being out, because, pretty soon we're going to have, Superman, Supergirl, Clayface, Man of Tomorrow. Now that you've got 4 movies out, there's no excuse of putting out Batman villain movies without having Batman there yet. Like, at that point, you've got to start getting your main pillar characters out there. And again, it didn't have to be the first movie. It didn't have to be in the second movie. But I don't know how you get to movies 5 or 6 in a DCU and not have Wonder Woman or Batman there yet. I just don't know how you do that. Anyway, thanks for that, A. Marcellus. Appreciate that, man. All right, next up. Zach Larson writes, you said you've collected movies digitally for 12 years and have never had problems. Where do you buy your movies from? I collect physical, but if I switch to digital, I want my purchases to be protected. I gather most of them over at Movies Anywhere, but the main, at least for the last number of years, I've bought my movies exclusively from one of 2 places. Google Play Store, because Google's never going anywhere. Google's never going anywhere. So I get it from Google Play Store. And a couple of them I bought on Amazon, because Amazon isn't going to go anywhere. Now, what happened with PlayStation absolutely could happen to Google at some point in the future, or happen to Amazon, where they have a license for the movies and maybe the license expires and they choose not to renew that license. And I mean, that's a lot of ifs, but that could happen. But in 10 plus years, it's never happened to me. Again, look, when it comes to me, every movie I've ever bought today, right now, I still have digitally. I still have complete access and digital to every single one of them. I can't say that about a single one of my friends who collects physical media, that in the last 10 years, they've never lost, had damaged, misplaced, stolen, degraded, errored, or whatever on any other movie. I can't say, not one of my friends that collects physical media can say the same thing, but I can. Now that may change. And there are absolutely some problems that got to be fixed. But yeah, I generally stick with the big players. So like Amazon, Google. I mean, I guess Apple would be another thing you could do that with, but that's where I generally get my stuff from. All right. Let's see. Next up, Curtis Lopez writes, most anticipated for the rest of 2026. End of Oak Street. I am looking forward to that. That looks really good. 9, Digger. 8, The Forgotten Island. 7, Wildwood. That also looks really good. Wildwood also looks really good. Number 6, Godzilla. Number 5, Clayface. Number 4, Spider-Man. Number 3, Odyssey. Number 2, Dune. Number 1, Avengers Doomsday. And you know what? Some people get surprised when I don't put Doomsday as my number 1. But again, when you remember and realize that for me, like Dune 2, I think is the best movie of the last 10 years, then it's not so surprising. But yeah, I think Avengers Doomsday is going to be at the top of a lot of people's lists. All right. Thanks for sharing that list with us, Curtis. Next up, Mike Cat writes, Bane and Deathstroke in prison during a riot, the Raid style. That's not a bad idea. Still a movie I don't think the general movie going audience is going to go and watch, right? You're not going to get the general movie going audience to go see that movie. So now, I like the sounds of it. That's a pretty cool idea to me, Mike, but I just don't think it's going to get a lot of people out to it. All right. And our last question, because I turned off Super Chats quite a while ago. Curtis Lopez writes, John, saw Minions and Monsters last night, and I highly recommend. I totally forgot that it opened last night. I forgot that it opened early in the week. Anyway, saw Minions and Monsters last night, and I highly recommend it. And it's a charming and hilarious love letter to the golden age of Hollywood. I tell you what, dude, they showed us like 10, 12 minutes of it, I think, at CinemaCon. And it totally felt so good. It looks so good. And the reviews have been great. Like, what is it at right now? Like, if I jump over just, let's see, Minions and Monsters, Rotten Tomatoes. Like, the last I checked, the reviews were really glowing. And as of right now, it's got a 90%. Minis and Monsters has a 90% right now. So it looks great to me. I'm excited to see it. Now, I'm not going to see it tonight because Ann and I have that concert we're going to, and then we're going to Vegas, and then we're going to be in Vegas for a few days. So I'm not going to see it for at least 3 or 4 days, but I am looking forward to watching it. I think it looks absolutely wonderful. And all right, guys, that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all of you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us great, fun, interesting things and new perspectives and fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Just a reminder, like I announced a little bit earlier, there's not going to be an episode of the John Campea Show tomorrow because Jonathan has the day off. So Jonathan and Rob can't even do it because Jonathan's got the day off tomorrow, and I'm going to be in Vegas for an epic date weekend with me and Ann. It's going to be wonderful, but we will of course be back again on Monday. I'll look forward to seeing you guys then. So that'll do it for me from now, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.